So Avowed is out, and I'm here to help you guys have a better time than I did. I went through this game, put about 60 hours into it, and I got some tips and tricks to make your guys' experience definitely better than mine. The first one I really want to point out is when you go to these merchants, I really think you guys should stock up on lockpicks. You should stock up on any type of food that's there, all the materials, all of it. And the reason you want to do this is because this game has a lot of lock chests. And when you go to these lock chests, sometimes they'll take 3 to 5 lock picks. So the good thing is you need to go into this sooner rather than later to accumulate a bunch of lock picks, so you can go through the rest of the game not having any issues in terms of do you need more lock picks or not. When it comes to food, obviously at the camp you can make more food. This is a more, better way of healing yourself. It's like I would say you want to always be popping food. That way that health is constantly regenerating, and then use the other healing mechanisms if you need something right then and there to not die. And materials is plain and simple. Materials you need to upgrade. You need to have different qualities to be able to fight enemies in other regions. So the best way that you can really do is, I don't care what store you go to. Now, there is going to be some materials in this game. They're very expensive. They're in like the last couple regions of the game. But even when you get to that point, the next thing I will really want to tell you guys is sell stuff. Now, especially when you get to some of the higher end stuff, like the higher end quality stuff, you could sell that for a good amount of money. And where there's no any type of, encumbrance in this game, because you can always put everything straight to the camp. All you really have to do is go to a store, you sell everything that you don't need in your inventory, then you fast travel to a camp, load up on everything, because you can actually fast travel back to where you fast travel to the camp. So that way you'll be able to go straight to the actual merchant. You'll be able to sell everything there. The next mission thing I'm going to give you guys a real big thing on is the leveling system. The leveling system on this game is kind of weird. I've never seen a leveling system quite like the one that's in Avowed, where pretty much combat gets you nothing. I'm not saying it doesn't get you any XP, but in my experience with Avowed and the amount of time that I played, the moment you see those question marks pop up on the map that you can start a new game plus, not a new game plus, that you can start a side mission, you want to do that, because that's going to get you by far the most experience that you can get. Than just, obviously you get experience for discovering new places, and that gets you a decent amount. I would say that's good, but the biggest thing that you want to really focus on is those side missions, because they're going to get you a lot of things. Now, one thing that I want to point out as well is you got throwable objects in this game. Grenades, the firebomb things, the ice bomb things. There are stuff in this game that you need fire and ice to burn down or to break. You don't actually need the spells or your companions to do that. You could load up on these side, throwable things, and you could use those instead, where, you're able to actually efficiently move through the game and actually pick the companion members that would actually benefit you. And that's probably my next thing. The companions in this game are definitely hit and miss. I feel like, for me, it was better to use them as more of like buffing. There's companions. There's 2 companions in this game that have a lot of buffing healing abilities, and I use those 2 because I would prefer me do all the damage than rely on them to do the damage, because I felt like relying on them wasn't the best thing. But what they could do for me is give me spells called acceleration, where you move faster and you attack faster. They could heal me. They could put shields on me, and that's generally what I use the companions for in this game. Now, every time you beat a region in this game, you go to another region. That's clearly how games usually work. I would say there's dramatic skill gaps between every region. So normally I would say you want to stick back. You want to get as much of the XP as you can, because they're able to get you that levels that you need. So for instance, and you're in level 1, let's say region 1, make sure you do as much side missions and as much missions as possible, because that's going to give you vital XP to level up. But don't be afraid to go into the next one and just try to get by doing some side missions there, because in my experience, sometimes you get double the experience in like the next region that you would in the previous region. And also you got to look at it from the perspective too that there's going to be better equipment, there's going to be better materials and everything in the next region. So don't be afraid to at least experiment in the next region. And if you feel way too overwhelmed, go back to the region that you previously was at. Now, there's abilities in this game, and there's a lot of abilities. You have the warrior class, you have the hunter class or the ranger, and you got the wizard class, and obviously you got the godlike abilities. Don't be scared to experiment. You know, you can reroll everything. You can reroll even your companion's abilities. Do not be scared in this game to reroll if you feel like something else would work better. And I really want to stress that. I really want to stress that. Now, bounties. There is a board in every region with 5 or 6 bounties. Now, for the most part, they give you okay XP, but they give you a lot of money. And that's the biggest thing. I would say don't move on until you get the bounties from the previous region when you actually unlock a new region, because you're going to want to have as much money going into the next area, because like I said, that difficulty gap gets severe where when you're in the next region, you're looking at sometimes double or triple the amount that it would cost to buy a weapon there, because they usually have the grade above that you're currently using. And probably the last thing I would actually really advise you guys to do is, unlock the maps. Go around, even if before you start the main story in every region, just run around. Most of the time, these enemies can't kill you very quickly. They got to take a couple seconds, so you can easily run by most of them. There are some enemies that can like freeze you and stuff, and that's very annoying. But when you get these quick travel parts, when you do the side missions and the main missions, you're able to travel a lot faster and get them done a lot quicker. So it does benefit you to experimenting, looking around, finding out where everything is, finding out exactly what region you're in, exactly, how to get to certain areas. That way, when you start that main mission, a lot of the times you can literally just take a quick travel point near it and be there in a couple seconds. So that's pretty much I got for you guys when it comes to this. I feel like this particular thing will benefit a lot of people. Avowed's a great game, and I feel like if I were to go back and I would sit myself down and say, yo, these are the things that I need you to know before Avowed, these were the ones that I would actually say it is. Like I said, man, the biggest thing I would really stress on is just make sure you buy those materials, food, and lockpicks so you never have issues with that. Appreciate everyone coming through here. Until next time, have a good one. Peace.